Sometimes watching a movie isn't enough. You also want to eat that movie. That's why there's movie recipes. Today we're with Chef Kevin Gillespie at Revival in Decatur, Georgia. We've challenged him with making a dish the foodies of Middle-earth would enjoy. He's selected several ingredients even the most discerning hobbits would be happy about. They are sausage and bacon, for irony, because the unprocessed landscapes of New Zealand are what makes these movies so beautiful. Mushroom caps, because Tolkien may have inadvertently eaten a few to dream up Middle-earth. And brie bread, because you've got to carve up before Journey to Mordor. For Frodo! Lord of the Rings.
Massive trilogy here.
Yeah. Good trilogy.
Yeah, good trilogy.
Unlike The Hobbit that would come later.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to eat a meal that's inspired by this movie.
Yeah.
How many different directions could this guy go?
I don't know.
So many movies, so many ingredients. You have lembas bread.
You've got the potatoes.
You have the raw fish.
The rabbit stew.
Rabbit stew.
I would say that probably my favorite scene is in The Two Towers. Mm-hmm. It's Sam talking about, he's basically going through that big long speech while you see all this stuff happening, like the Ents coming in and you know, going to Saruman's castle and all these other things. His speech at the end is always like at the end giving me chill bumps at the end of it. And I'm like, I'm ready to see Return of the King now.
Yeah.
You know?
My favorite scene is the lighting of the torches at the top of the mountains, and the way the camera turns and the music swells.
Music's amazing.
Yeah, it gets me every time. What's your favorites?
I think the Ghost Army. Oh. I think that's, because right before, when they're, you know, going to talk to him and everything, you have this moment where everybody hesitates, and then Aragorn just basically says, I do not fear death, and he just charges right in, and it's like inspirational. It's great.
Right. I think it's true, right? And he doesn't feel it.
Yeah, at that point he was just like, what am I
He
doing?
knows that he has to do this, or else all is lost if I don't do this. I could die, but I'm going to die anyway. So we're all in agreement that The Two Towers is the best one of these, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know that back in the day, it seemed like a lot of people thought this was just a bridge movie. Mm-hmm. Like it relied on the first one and it relied on what happens after in the third to be an effective movie. I disagree with that. It's kind of like what you're saying with Empire Strikes Back and everything like that. This is where like most of the good stuff that I remember from the trilogy happens.
This is the meat of the sandwich.
Yeah.
You know, this is where all the fun stuff happens and everything. And then you get, the bread is great, but you want the meat.
I like bread.
Yeah.
You gotta have bread and meat to make it a sandwich. Otherwise, it's just meat.
And the bottom half of the bread is what wins all the Academy Awards.
It's second breakfast.
Second breakfast.
This is stick to your ribs stuff right here.
Man.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. They never really like clarified what went in second breakfast. So I kind of went with the classic English breakfast tradition, and there's that tradition kind of exists all over the world. And so we just sort of mixed it up and said, you know what, second breakfast feels like it should be hearty. So yeah. So we have a bunch of different stuff. So we have just a real basic grilled tomato just over the fire, a little salt and pepper. Next to that, we have something called brie bread that is kind of a grilled cheese sandwich. It's bread that is just slathered in butter. The inside of it is covered in chutney, like English chutney, and then it has sliced tomatoes, sliced onion, and smoked cheddar cheese, and then that cooks over the grill. We have dry cured bacon, so those are the two kind of thick slices. We have a dry cured smoked sausage. We have some mushroom caps fried in bacon fat, beans cooked over the open fire, and then an egg fried in all that residual fat from the sausage and bacon and everything else.
Well, you went for hearty and you got it. So yeah.
This whole plate smells like a campfire.
Exactly. Well, that's it. Is that I was like, in the movie, you know, they stop. Obviously, all of their cooking is done over an open fire, and so it felt like we had to do that.
Wow.
So we were a little worried you were going to serve us lambda spread or...
That's what I should have done. I would have started baking it last week and drying it overnight so that it really set with you for a long time. Now, you know what, we went back and forth on like, what exactly would a Hobbit have for second breakfast? And so, you know, we chose a lot of the dry cured stuff because it seemed like you could tote that around in your backpack. And then I just remember in the movie them stealing mushrooms from the farmer's garden. And so I was like, well, surely they'll have some mushrooms around. Like, maybe they'll have a tomato. Like, some sort of, the bread's a little bit of a stretch, but simultaneously it's not a real full fry up if you don't have some greasy bread component. That's like a necessity. And obviously, when you go camping, like I think of beans, you know, they're easy to carry, they're easy to cook over a campfire, so they made perfect sense to us.
So what is your favorite movie out of the trilogy, and what is your favorite scene out of the trilogy?
Ooh, it's so tough. I love all three of them so much. I think Return of the King is my favorite of the three.
Okay.
The story feels the most well-rounded. It seems to have the right amount of climax and just. And as far as like favorite scene in the movie, right when you start into the Two Towers with Gandalf fighting the Balrog as he's sort of flying and dropping through the center of the earth, like it's just amazing. I remember the first time I saw that in the theater, just being like, "This is the coolest thing I've ever seen!" Like, because it was just so epic. You know, it's such an amazing film, especially the first time seeing it on the big screen in the theater, the magnitude of some of these shots, you know, and then knowing after watching interviews that, you know, some of those backdrops are real. Like that's just New Zealand, you know, AKA Middle Earth. And it makes you want to go, why have I never been there? Like, that's amazing. Yeah.
God, I don't want to stop eating. Everything I've tasted is amazing.
This is only about 30,000 calories, so it's fine if you finish the whole thing. Yeah. It really fits into a 6-meal-a-day plan.
It's like the Grand Slam on steroids, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. This is the first half of it. I have the other half outside. I'll go get it now. No.
Thank you.